The reason nobody's buying your offer isn't your price, your audience size, or your marketing. It's that the offer is invisible. And I mean that literally. You see, what most creators do is they just slap some sort of price on their skill and call it coaching or a course, and then they wonder why they hear crickets. Well, the problem is that they built an offer that makes sense to them, but means absolutely nothing to the person reading it. And the longer you keep tweaking your price or changing your niche, thinking that that's actually the fix, the longer you stay stuck at inconsistent $3,000 to $10,000 months, while other creators with half of your skills are closing $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 deals. Today, I am breaking down the exact 5-part framework for building an offer that does the selling for you. Now, by the end of this video, you'll have a clear structure you can build this week, not next month, this week. So let's get into it. Here's the core issue here. The number one reason why offers don't sell is they describe what you do instead of what the buyer gets. Most creators just list deliverables, 8 coaching calls, a Slack community, done for you templates. That's a feature list, not an actual offer. See, the buyer doesn't care about your process. What they really care about is exactly one thing. Will this solve my specific problem? Think about the difference between these two statements. Number one, 12 weeks of one-on-one business coaching. Number two, go from inconsistent 5K months to predictable 15K months in 90 days. Same exact service, completely different offer. One tells you what you're buying, the other tells you what you're getting. And this is where so many creators get stuck. See, they think, well, people should just understand what my offer is. Well, no, that it's actually your job to make sure it's so clear that a stranger could read one sentence and know exactly what result they'd walk away with. The question becomes, what does an offer that actually sells look like? Well, it comes down to 5 specific parts. Every single great offer starts with one thing: a specific, measurable result the buyer desperately wants. Not grow your business, that means nothing. Not level up your brand, nobody's pulling out their credit card for that one. Go from 5K a month to 20K a month in 90 days with a systemized back end. See, that's a dream outcome. It's specific, it's measurable, it has a time frame. Here's why being specific matters so much. Being specific equals credibility. When you say, I help entrepreneurs grow, the buyer thinks, yeah, well, so does every single other coach on the internet. When you say, I help creators doing 3 to 25K a month install a monetization system that makes revenue predictable, now you're speaking directly to their situation. You see, the framework is actually very simple. You take the current state, the desired path, plus a time frame. That's it. Your ideal client has a specific plan. They're making money, but it's inconsistent. They know that they're capable of more, but they can't just quite figure out what's missing. Your ideal client has a specific pain. They're making money, they're inconsistent, they know they're capable of more, but they can't quite figure out what's missing. Your dream outcome speaks directly to that. Here's your exercise. Write down the single biggest result your best client or customer would actually get from working with you. Not just like what you deliver, what they actually get. Now, look, that sentence is the foundation of your entire offer. But a dream offer alone isn't simply enough. People need to believe it's actually possible for them. Now, the next step is actually where most creators lose people. The dream outcome sounds amazing. The buyer is sitting there thinking, yeah, but will this actually work for me? Think about it yourself. You can promise the best result in the world, but if the buyer doesn't believe that they can actually achieve it, then they won't buy, period. How do you actually increase their perceived likelihood of success? Well, it's 3 things. Number 1, proof, case studies, client results, or if you don't have that, your own story. Even like one specific data point is enough early on. This framework helped my first client go from 8K to 20K months in 60 days. for example. See, that's real and that's actually believable. Number two, a specific method. Give your process a name. For example, the monetization system or the revenue architecture framework. It actually feels tangible, proven, tested. Coaching feels vague. The buyer can't actually picture what coaching actually looks like inside of their business. A name framework, now they can picture that. Number three, reduce unknowns. Show them exactly what the process looks like. When the buyer can see the steps 1 through 5 laid out, they think, I can follow this. When it's vague, they think this feels extremely risky. If you stack all these together, proof plus a name mechanism plus a clear process, now the buyer isn't just excited about the result. They believe that they can actually achieve it. Now, here's what gets really interesting. And honestly, well, most creators completely miss the mark. There are two variables that kill conversions almost no one talks about. How long is this going to take? And how hard is this going to be? Let's start with the time delay. 90 days beats 6 to 12 months every single time. You need to be honest. Don't promise overnight results. But if your system genuinely accelerates the timeline, then say so and back it up with evidence. See, most creators spend 12 to 18 months trying to figure this out through trial and error alone. This framework compresses that into 90 days because we're installing a proven system, not guessing. You see, that, for example, is honest and addresses the time delay directly. Now, let's talk about the second thing, effort and sacrifice. It's not about necessarily making things sound easy here. It's about removing any unnecessary friction from the buyer's actual journey. Compare these two statements. Here's a course, good luck implementing it on your own, versus you get a done with you build out where we install every piece of the system alongside you. Ask yourself honestly and truthfully, which one would you buy? You see, the spectrum kind of goes like this. Done for you is most valuable, done with you is next, and then do it yourself is kind of like the least valuable. The more you reduce the buyer's effort, the more valuable your offer becomes. And this is exactly why something that's like a $5,000 done with you offer can outsell a $97 course all day long. Not necessarily because like the $5,000 offer actually has more information, but it's that the perceived effort is dramatically lower. This is where the myth of high ticket is just charging more completely falls apart. High ticket isn't just about price, it's about structuring so much value and so much support into the offer that essentially the price just kind of becomes a no-brainer. You see, the buyer thinks, oh, $5,000 to save me a year or so of guessing and actually get it done with me and support. Well, that's cheap. So at this point now you have all of the 5 parts. Let me show you how you actually stack them together and create a real offer for yourself. So let's build this out in real time. I'm going to walk you through stacking all these 5 parts together into one complete offer. The first thing that we're going to start with is the dream outcome at the top. In 90 days, we install a complete monetization system into your creator business. Offer, funnel, sales process, back end. So you go from inconsistent revenue to predictable $15,000 to $30,000 months. For example, that's, you see the headline. That's what leads. Everything else supports it. Next, you add the actual mechanism. So for example, using the revenue architecture framework in a proven 5-step system. Now, that's not just coaching. That's a named, structured process. The layer after that is proof. See, this framework has generated X in revenue across all of our different clients. So even when you're early on, you got to use what you have. And remember this, your own results count. One client counts. Just results, period, counts. Now, define the timeline. For example, 90-day implementation with weekly strategy sessions. Now they know exactly when to expect results. And finally, list everything that reduces their effort. This is a done with you system build out, weekly one-on-one calls, offer, audit, and rebuild, funnel templates, sales scripts, and frameworks. Every item here makes the buyer think out loud, I'm not doing it alone. Now, here's the technique that ties it all together. The value stack. List every single piece of what they get. Assign like a realistic dollar value to each one based on what it actually would cost them to get it somewhere else, and show them the total. Then you show them what they actually pay. Now look, this is not like manipulation. This is making the buyer see what they're actually getting, because most of the time, the buyer has actually no idea how much value is really packed into a well-structured offer. You have to show them. Last thing here, the most common mistakes that I see. First thing, including too many deliverables. That just confuses people. Second, not leading with the outcome. See, they bury the transformation under all the logistics. Lastly, making the offer too complicated. Here's your final checklist. Read your offer out loud to someone who has never heard of your business, and if they can't tell you in one sentence exactly what result they'd get, it's simply not clear enough yet. Let's actually recap the 3 things to take away from this. Number 1, your offer has to describe what they get, not what you do. Lead with the dream outcome every single time. Number 2, build believability through a named mechanism, real proof, and a clear timeline. The buyer needs to see themselves succeeding. Number 3, reduce perceived effort. Structure your offer so the buyer sees the shortest possible path to the result. That's what makes a 5-figure offer feel like a no-brainer. If you found this valuable, there is a completely free 45-minute A through Z training that's linked down in the description below that actually goes deeper onto how to build your entire monetization system around an offer like this, including things like the funnel, the sales process, and the backend that actually makes it all work. And if you enjoyed this video and you want extra help creating your own offer, there is a free template down below that is simply fill in the blanks and you'll have your own offer. I'll see you in the next one.